Hey, hey, can everyone hear me just fine, or am I too loud, or what? Really, dog, you gotta lay on my feet. Okay, so it's all good. So today, I am going to be doing my inventory system tutorial video portion. Oh, too loud as well? Okay, I'll turn that down just a smidgen. Alright, there we go. God damn, that is pretty loud. There. There we go. All right, so the inventory system video portion of the tutorial. So any questions that you have, feel free to ask. Uh, Everything will be explained in the actual video itself, but since it's this English, can I speak it? But since this is a live stream, I'm not uh, really going to all of the details on what I'm doing. Now, fun fact, when it comes to how I'm doing this, on my secondary laptop, all of my code is already pre-done. So I'm just going to be referencing that to type it in here. That's generally what I do anyways for my videos. Alright, so first and foremost, there are three things we need. Three folders, resources, also going to create a rights folder, and of course, scripts. Not sure if 45 is a high volume or a low volume. I typically have everything maxed out all the time. Alright, so now I'm going to go into the scripts folder, and we are going to do two main scripts for now. The first script being item, and then item. Come on, you're a bitch. Really? Rename. There we go. Item database. Alright, let's open these bad boys up. Which editor is it going to open? Apparently it's going to open Writer. Okay. Wrong screen to open up on. Now I can't see the chat. There we go. Because I'm actually blind as a bat. Alright, so the item class. Let's get into it. Actually, yeah. Everything except for using Unity Engine. This is not a mono behavior. Yeah, Writer is JetBrains IDE for C#, and it has some features of ReSharper built into it. Oh, hey, Rome. I'm gonna need to make shit big to read it. Is that better? I know, I'm blind as well. Alright, so with this item class, it is not going to inherit from mono behavior. Hey Jay, CryEngine will be a little bit later once I get my NVMe drive in the mail, which should actually arrive tomorrow. Then I'll be able to get everything installed and actually use the other laptop for that. Alright, so we are going to want to make this serializable, this entire class to be serializable. Pupper Z? Oh, you mean Fun Fun? He's pretty good. He's actually laying on my feet at the moment. No, I don't want to update Writer because I haven't upgraded for another year. Let's see. So, we are going to need Gonna open stream in YouTube. Okay, Mort. Yeah, it's cute, but at the same time really annoying because I tend to shift around when I'm working and I end up kicking him. By accident, of course. So I'm actually thinking if I actually want to keep some of the aspects of the original inventory system I did. Because I was thinking of modifying it to be a little bit more like classic inventory systems. Sorry about that. But usually use my dog as a pillow. I try to, but he likes to run away when I do that. And if I sneeze, he will run away and hide under the futon or my couch. Alright, so, you know what? I'm just going to do it the same way I did before. So we're going to create an integer called ID. We're going to create a string called title. We're going to create a string called description. And honestly, these should actually be capitalized. Why I didn't do that before, I don't know. But these are public. And then we also want a sprite, public sprite, and it's going to be called icon. There we go. So these are our public items that we want to be serialized. Now, create a constructor, int ID, string title, string description. Hey Luke, I didn't expect you to join in. This dot ID is set to ID. This dot title is set to title. This dot description is set to description. And then this dot icon, is going to be set to resources dot load. Sprite. Can I spell? Apparently not. Okay, sprite. And then it's going to be sprites. And we're also going to make... Who's Lurkins? Lurkins is someone that recently joined the Psycho server. Watching without sign. Or watching without sound. But Jessica, I have more followers than you. Yeah, I know. I really need to do more videos more consistently. That's the biggest problem. And it's whatever, you know? Some people have more followers than others. It happens. I mean, look at Psycho. Let's see. I already answered who is Lurkins, not the Luke. Yeah, it's the Luke, surprisingly. Where were we? Oh, yeah. See, this is the other reason why I don't typically live stream. I actually lose my train of thought with the code. So, we're also going to make this items. And then we're going to do item dot plus title. Psycho. It's Psycho Sam! Alright, so there's constructor number 1. Now let's do... can I do that? Yeah, okay. No, let me open that one up. Yeesh. There we go. Really? Item database. There. Fuck off. Okay, so now one more constructor, call it item, there we go. Now this .id is set to item.id. This .title is set to item.title. This .description is set to item.description. And this .icon is set to resources.load sprite slash item slash good plus item.title. Thanks for your efforts. Make sure to notify me when a CryEngine video comes out. Why are we creating two constructors? The reason we're doing two different constructors is... Actually, let me do something here. Separate line it. There. The two constructors work on different ways. So, for example, this first one is setting the parameters by hand. So we have item or ID, title, descriptions, and then we're setting those to the public variables here. And then the second one is calling the item class itself. So we're setting the public variables to be within the item itself. That way, anytime we go to call it later or to use it later, we have two different ways to handle it. There we go. So that actually handles the item class in full. So it's serializable, and then we have public variables, then we have our two constructors. So I'll save that. Now, item database, which I actually didn't have pulled up. Okay, there we go. Does this need to be bigger, or is it fine? I think I'm going to make it just a smidge bigger. You know, I'm just going to delete everything and start from scratch. This is going to be using system.collections.generic using Unity Engine. Public class item database inherits from mono behavior. There. Good. So the first thing we're going to want to do is not type something incorrectly. Serialize field. And we are actually going to create a new list, public list of item. Call it items and instantiate it as a new list. Thank you. And we're serializing the field so that way we can serialize and deserialize it later. So if we want to save the JSON or binary or whatever file format you want, you can do that. And son of a bitch, I forgot to click the start record button. I guess that just means I'll have to download it later. Okay, so anyways, let's create a private void awake function. Really? It depends on how you're doing the inventory for whether or not a dictionary would be better. In this scenario, I'm not actually using... You'll actually understand a bit later, Mort, because I actually utilize the serialization. For example, with the dictionary, you're using a key or key value pair. In this particular version, I'm not actually using a key value pair, so I don't really need it. Now, if I were to say have my inventory items listed in an actual database like SQL or any other database type, MongoDB, whatever, then yes, you would want to have that key value pair to reflect how it looks in the actual database. In this scenario, one portion is actually going to be hard-coded just to showcase how that works, and then the other portion, which will be saving and loading data. Yes, in a full system like an RPG, the dictionary would make sense. Make a hell of a lot more sense. But since this isn't actually built around the concept of an RPG, this because this one isn't actually built around the concept of an RPG. Instead, it's more action adventure style. So you can think of Metroid, Castlevania. Yeah. So the list actually makes a little more sense in this scenario. But what I might end up doing is in the actual survival series version is do the dictionary style, because I think I'll probably have more elements of the RPG built into it, so it would make more sense. In this awake function, we're doing nothing yet. So now I wonder why. Showcase is actually supposed to be for self-promotion. Oh well. So now let's create a public item, and we're going to call it get item with the int ID value. Also going to create another one called public item get item, and this one's going to take string item name. And there is actually a method to my madness with this. What I want to do is I want to be able to get my item regardless of whether it's based on the string name or the ID value. And both of these functions are very simple. We're actually going to utilize the find function from Link. So this one will be return items.find. The parameter will be item. So we're going to match item to the item.id and set it to be equal to ID. And basically, the string version is almost exactly the same. Return items.find item.title instead of ID, and then item name. Booyah. So there we go. And this is where I'm actually going to hard code the database. So, private void build database. And this is actually going to get called in the awake function. And the only reason I'm really using the awake function here is because crap, lost my train of thought there. Awake happens slightly before start, which could cause some issues, which we'll see in a little bit, especially with getting index out of bounds errors. Okay, so now in the build database function, items is set to new list of item, new item, item 0, the ID. We're going to call it apple. And then the description of the apple will be, eat me, I'm delicious. Oops, comma. New item, the ID being 1, and this is going to be a trophy. And then for this particular one, it's going to be a bronze trophy. So enchanted golden apple. Not quite. It's just standard red apple. Someone was only in 3rd place. And then finally, new item. ID is set to 2. Lantern lights the way through the darkness. Apparently I spelled lantern wrong. Okay, continue. You are honestly doing your database around a dictionary and not a list. You're kind of making it a simple list. Uh, kind of, but I never actually use the ID when actually doing it later. So essentially what this is doing is it's going to allow me to later do the JSON and then organize the JSON to be fairly clean and easy to understand. Um, yeah, the SQL database would be better. In terms like this, I'm not too worried about it. What I'm actually going to do in a different version of this is instead of building it out by hand here, it's going to actually load a JSON file. Alright, so now the item database is complete. Item in the item database. So now we need to do a standard inventory. Maybe a visual editor in the long run too. Possibly. I don't know. Importing, go ahead. No thanks. I don't need to update the API. I'm never really one for building visual editors. Not normally my thing. I know other people prefer it, but for me, I don't. So now, let's create inventory. Now we can go back over to Writer. Oh my god, that's so small. That might be a little too big. Alright, so this one, again, we're just using collections.generic. This is a mono behavior. I might end up making this a tool for a designer. Not quite sure yet. So for this one, we're going to start with the list of items. We're going to call it character items. A new list of items. Why do I keep lowercasing it? Stop. Okay, so now we need a public item database. If I can spell it, and call it wrap baskets. Oh, that's why That's why. Okay. Because I wanted consistency. And hold up, wait a minute, son of a bitch. Okay. So, go back over to Unity real quick. Because we need a few more things so that way I can continue on. UI item. Thank you. UI inventory. I think that's all I need at this point in time. UI item, UI inventory. Moderators hate you. um, Probably. I mean, I am generally an asshole. Let me double check here. Yeah, okay. So we're good on that front now. So now I can go back over to here and do public UI inventory UI. Due to the way I have this code written here in the inventory. Oh, you don't understand what's going on between me and the mods. Let's just say we don't entirely agree on everything. I guess that would be the amicable way of putting it. So now, public void give item string item name public item check for item string item name, and then public void remove item string item name. So there's our method stubs for now. All right. So item to add item database. Why didn't it do that one? Dot get item name. There. Character items dot add, and we're gonna add item to add. Pretty straightforward there. So basically this give item function is basically just going to take the item from the item database and then add it to the UI or the character items portion, which is tied directly to the UI that's tied directly to the player. And inventory UI dot add new item to add. Yes, I know it doesn't exist yet. Debug.log. Added item named should you not check for item first before giving item? Yeah, I should, but I'm being lazy with the implementation. Item to add dot title. Then check for item will just return character items dot find item lambda item dot title item name. Yeah, the main focus for me is to break it down, but also not make it so that it's so complex that it just throws them for a loop. Like this. But honestly, why not check first if exists add? I mean, I could. I'm being lazy. I'll add it later. And then remove item to remove check for items, item name. If item to remove, I'll add it after this. I promise. I promise. Is not equal to null. Character items dot remove. Item to remove. Inventory UI dot remove item. Item to remove. God damn it. And then debug.log removed item plus item to remove dot name. Damn it. Oh, title. Yes, I know. Character items doesn't exist. Wait, what? Oh. Wait, what? Not trying to bust your balls, just I know you can do this cleanly. If you want me to shut up, I will. Never. You can never shut up. Congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Thank you, Restream. Why the fuck? Oh. I'm a dumbass. Check for item. Heh. Jessica also calls me out on shit all the time. Yes, I do. Alright, fine. If item to add equal to check for item. God damn it. Not character items. Check for item. Item name. Then add. There. Oh, don't you invert in if statement. Fine. Refactor. Wait, it told me to invert it, but it's not doing it for me. Yes, invert. I only say this because I have written many inventory systems throughout the years. From basic to highly advanced. I actually want to see one of your highly advanced ones. There. If item to add is not equal to check for item name, return. Otherwise, add it. Be right back. Gonna buy something from the store. Okay. Okay. So now, I believe that's everything from here. Yes. Okay. Cool. So now we can UI inventory, UI item. Yes, I know there's errors in inventory. I don't care right now. There we go. Which one do I want to do first? UI item or UI inventory? UI item. Okay. Welcome back, Dark. Got the last bit of the big burger. Oh, burger. No errors. Yes, I have successfully hidden those. All right, so we need Unity Engine for this one, using Unity Engine.ui and using Unity Engine.event system. UI item will also inherit from the iPointer down handler interface, iPointer enter handler interface, and iPointer exit interface. Yes, I know. I have to implement them. I'm just going to let the awake private. Am I actually using update? No. There. Just go. I would love to share you an advanced item system. Sweet. And yay, events. I hate events, especially Unity ones. Okay, so now that we have our stubs set up, we can now start implementing things. Starting with public item is item. Private image, sprite image. Private UI item, Yeah, UI item. Selected item and private. God damn it! I forgot another function. Fuck. Tooltip. Tooltip. That's why I wrote my own, since Unity events suck. Yeah, they do. Daniel, last time I made an inventory system, I had so many problems with the events. Yeah. Which is why I typically prefer to use delegates and events over Unity ones, but it's whatever with this one. You gotta let people understand how to use the Unity ones. Okay, so selected item set to GameObject dot find selected item get component UI item. Last time I made something in Unity, I got pissed off at the fact my code kept getting corrected when it wasn't even right. That's amazing. Alright, so for this one, we're actually going to have a UI element called selected item, and that's how it's going to find this game object. Tooltip is basically the same. GameObject.find. This one will be called tooltip panel. And then get component tooltip. Got that? Sprite image is set to get component image. And then update item no. Yes, I know I haven't created the function yet. We're about to. Public void update item, parameter being item. Would help if I didn't. There we go. Scroll down. Okay, so for update item, this dot item is set to item. If this dot item is not equal to null, then sprite image dot color. What the fuck just happened there? Is set to color dot white. Sprite image dot sprite is set to item dot icon. Else sprite image dot color set to color dot clear. There. So the image of the sprite will be white for the background, and then the sprite itself will actually be whatever the icon is for that specific item. And then otherwise, if it is null, then it is clear. Honestly, I should keep the color white to begin with for everything. Okay, so next up, pointer down, enter, and exit. Why did I do that? I can't copy the code if it's collapsed. Okay, so now we can remove this not implemented exception. If this dot item is not equal to null, then what we are going to do is do another check for selected item. Item not equal to null. Item clone is set to new item selected item dot item. Selected item dot update item. This item. Then update item. Clone. There. So basically, we're just doing a check if the item is not null, and if the selected item is not null, then we're going to clone the item, update the item, and then actually display what the updated item is. Cool. Now we can do on pointer enter. If this dot item is not equal to null, then tooltip dot generate tooltip this dot item. Yeah, we haven't actually defined that function yet, but we will soon enough. And then on pointer exit tooltip dot game object set active false. So we're just going to make that game object when we create it to disappear. Cool. Now we can go to UI inventory, system.collections.generic, and Unity Engine are all that we need here. I don't think we need to update. I hate these startup comments. Gonna make it an awake function. So public list UI item. UI items. That's a new list UI item. Yay. Now we need a public game object. Slot prefab. Public transform. Slot panel. public int inventory size. Should be pretty straightforward with those. In the awake function, we're just going to do for in I is set to 0, I is less than inventory size, I plus plus, game object instance set to instantiate, slot prefab, instance dot transform dot set parent. So we're setting the parent of the prefab to be the slot panel. And then UI items dot add the instance the component in children UI item. Done. Yeah, well, I know. Alright. Well, that's done. So now we can move on to the three functions that we're going to create here, which will be a public void update slot. It'll take an integer parameter of slot and item. Public void add new item. And then finally, public void remove item. Item. So for update slot, what we're going to do is UI items slot dot update item. And that's complete. For add new items, we're going to do update slot UI items dot find index I dot item null item. And yes, in the actual tutorial, I'm going to explain this in detail. Update slot UI items find index there we go. Yes, I know it can be made private. I don't want to. Alright, so now we can do tooltip. Oh, that's a little too big there. And this one's just going to use using Unity Engine and using Unity Engine.UI. Public text, tooltip text, void start, private void start, tooltip text to component in children text, and game object dot set active false. So immediately on start, it's not going to be active. And then we can do public void generate tooltip. It's going to take an item as the parameter. String tooltip set to string.format. And I'm actually going to move this on another line. So we want to format the string So making make it bold, then do a new line. Then add the second portion, then create new lines. Item dot title, and then item dot this. Wow, that's killing my frame rate. I have no idea why it did that. Okay. And now, tooltip text dot text is set to be tooltip. Beam object dot set active true. Alright, so what's still failing? What? Cannot access non-static method, add new item in static context. What are you talking about? So inventory. And this is from... Oh, that's what... I'm a dumbass. Inventory UI. I'm a dumbass. Yeah, instead of calling the... that was actually kind of rich. Okay, so now... Pull up Unity. Oh look, no errors. So now, we can basically just create the inventory. So, UI canvas, I'm going to call it inventory canvas. Then I want a panel. Inventory panel. Then as a child, it's going to have just going to create 3 empty game objects there. So this is going to be a slot panel. Selected item. And another empty, and it's going to be tooltip panel. There, so we've got our procession of how things are going to go. So we have a canvas here, and it's going to be screen space camera. Canvas scaler is fine. Graphics raycaster is fine. And then we also want to add a canvas group to it. And this will just be for making things a little bit easier. Inventory panel needs a rect transform, canvas renderer. Got it. Got it. Image. Got it. And it also needs the UI inventory. There. Panel is going to be this guy. We don't have the slot prefab made yet. That's fine. Slot panel. Basically want to get everything pre-set up. Needs a grid layout. Grid layout group. That's about it. Selected item. Needs a rect transform. Also needs a canvas group. Needs an image. Boom. And then it needs the UI item script. And then tooltip panel. Tooltip panel needs a rect transform, canvas renderer. Content size fitter and tooltip script. Oh yeah. Also needs a child image on it. Oh yeah. Then the image needs a child text. There. Boom. So if I were to actually play this right now, we just get a blank square on screen. There's a bit more we gotta do. But I also need to there we go. Really? Alright. I already did. It just scrolled a little bit too much. Do, do, do. So our slot panel. I don't really want to do it in 2D. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just going to make it a flat plane. Okay. Nothing really too different there. Alright. So now, wait, why does this have 3D on it? Okay, whatever. We'll just leave that for now. No reference to what? Line 14. Oh. Oops. Tool top panel. That should clear the error. Yes. So the main thing is we definitely want to make sure that we don't have any errors before continuing. So now what I want to do is I have a little bit more code to do. Collect item, item follow mouse, and player. So let's do item follow mouse first, and that actually gets attached to... What did I have that attached to? Selected item? Probably. Yep. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do script. New script, and it's going to be called item follow mouse. Why did that not appear in scripts? Yes, move it. Okay, so for item follow mouse, I believe all we need is using Unity Engine. Yep. The mono behavior. And this is going to be private void late update. God damn it, Ryder. Are you serious? Ugh. And this is just going to be transformed up position is set to be input dot mouse position. Done. Next up, we need a collect item script. And I'm also going to do the player one. So, player, and I'm probably going to have to re-record this later. Collect item. Just because of how many mistakes I made. Writer. Come on, Writer. Update. It's right there in Unity. Thank you. Collect item and player. There. So let's do collect item first. Yeah, but it makes editing a little bit more of a pain in the ass than it needs to be. Okay, so we need a reference to the inventory. Private void awake. Inventory is set to get component. Inventory. I have found that when editing, the more mistakes you make, the more you have to edit out later and then account for the time. Like, there was one video I did where I made so many mistakes, not only in the video portion, but also the audio portion. And basically had to spend a good 5 hours editing. It was not fun. And for me, yeah. Especially if I decide to record in chunks. So, say for example, I do, like, yeah. I'm also not a very good editor, so it takes me a lot longer. So, for example, let's say I were to re-record this. I could do it in small chunks, such as for each script, I do a single recording and make sure it's 100% perfect. That way, I can also make sure that my order is 100% correct, where I'm not creating something early or late and then needing to go back. And then when doing the visualization portion, I can also do small chunks and then edit those together later. So this one I need to do private void on trigger enter if other.gameObject.name is not equal to player, or is not set to be player, inventory.giveItem other.gameObject.name. See, this is where the giveItem function with either the ID or the name comes in handy, because that means the 3D objects that I use inside can actually have the same name, and then pull the database to see if it's actually there. And if it is, it adds it to the inventory. So that's kind of one of the thought processes I had when coming up with how I wanted to create this inventory system. Other dot game object dot set active false, because once we collect the item, we don't want it to be active anymore, but we don't really want to waste resources and destroy it, because we may want it at a later time, and then we can basically set it to be inactive and then reuse the item later. So collect item is done, so now we can move on to player. And this one again is just using Unity Engine. Now we can do public float speed. Gee, I wonder what that's for. Public. What the fuck was that? Public canvas group. Jeez. One of the downsides of using a Mac when developing canvas. So this is setting the inventory canvas that we created. Yeah, Spasm is right. This is actually the reason why I added the canvas group to the canvas item itself, or the UI canvas, because I can set it to be is visible in the alpha values without going, okay, I want to disable this object or re-enable it. This actually completely circumvents that, leaves it to be always instantiated and keeping the values within it without having to worry about, oh, is it going to wipe everything from the array or not, or the list in this case. And then public bool is visible. Private void start. Yes, I want. God damn it! Is visible is set to false. Canvas.alpha set to 0. It's one of those approaches where you really have to understand what happens when you set something to be inactive versus active, versus is there a way to just hide it. So you can think about the original Link to the Past. When you press the start button, it would lower down the inventory, pause the backend, so pause the gameplay itself, and then you can select whatever item you want to use, press start, remove the inventory and continue on with the game. It's not destroying that inventory. Instead, it's just hiding it off screen. And the approach that the Super Nintendo did was just moved it outside of the camera buffer. I believe that's how they did it. So now we can do private void activate inventory. And basically what we're going to do is just set it to be an input response. Yeah, so you can create invisible objects and attach stuff to it. But at the same time, is it really invisible or is it just set to inactive? You really have to look into that to know what's going on with it. Which is why I went with the canvas group approach. I know that setting the alpha value to be 0 means that it's just completely transparent so you can't see it. So with activate inventory, if input get key down, key code space, if is visible, set to false, else if is visible, set to true. So we want two different things to occur based on whether or not it is set to is visible or not. So if it's set to false, what we want to happen is the canvas alpha value is set to 1. Is visible is now set to true. And then we want the time scale set to 0. So this is basically if the inventory system is on screen. We want to freeze the background game. We want the inventory system to be visible and no transparency. On the other hand, if it is set to true, then we want the canvas alpha to be set to 0 for full transparency. Is visible is now set to false. And then time scale is now set to 1. We want the game to be unpaused. A really simplistic approach, but I think it's, in my opinion, one of the more elegant solutions. I mean, yeah, we could actually just leave the gameplay running in the background with no worries. But then you run into the problem of, okay, do I want my inventory to fill up the full screen or just a small portion? So that's where design considerations have to come into play. And the way I currently have it set up is it covers the full screen. So yeah, it's going to pause everything. Alright, so next up, we are going to do very basic player movement. So private void movement. And it does need some parameters. We're going to do float horizontal, float vertical, float speed, float frame time. Horizontal is set to horizontal times speed times frame time. Vertical is set to be vertical times speed times frame time. Vector 3 movement is set to new vector 3, and it's going to take horizontal, 0, and vertical. Now, I should actually rename this to be depth because we're actually doing depth-based movement instead of vertical up and down. So it's just a naming convention that I went with just because I wasn't really thinking it through. And then, since we're not actually using physics for movement, we're going to do transform.translate movement. So the reason why I'm separating the movement out into a separate function like this is because with setting the parameters the way I did makes it 100% testable, which means you can guarantee what your results are going to be by running tests on it. Because we already know that the horizontal movement is going to be the horizontal value multiplied by whatever the speed value is going to be, and then whatever your frame time value is. So now we can do private void update, and we can do activate inventory, and then we can do movement. So check this out. Input dot get axis horizontal, input dot get axis, oh shit, vertical, speed, and then time dot delta time. Why did that go away? There we go. So now, with the function being fully testable, that means we can use any type of input system that we want. So for example, let's say you're using rewired. Well, the movement code doesn't care whether it's rewired, the Unity input system, the new Unity input system. It's just going, okay, whatever this horizontal value is, that's going to be what it is. So with rewired, you could go, okay, I want this to be my horizontal input. I want this to be my vertical input, or depth-based input, whatever you want to call it. And it makes it so much easier, which also makes your code future-proof to a degree. Like in this instance, this is a little bit of overkill, but at the same time it's going, okay, I don't know whether I want to use physics-based movement or not. But because of transform translate, it does assume non-physics-based movement, which is fine. Because let's say for whatever reason you want to use fixed update instead of regular update for your movement. Well, because you're doing frame time, you can do fixed delta time instead of regular delta time. It doesn't matter. That's kind of another bit of design thought processes that I have when writing code. Like, do I want to use regular movement? Do I want to use physics movement? And in any case, it doesn't matter at this point because I could overload this function. So I could actually do a summary statement on which type of movement this one is for non-physics based movement. Then I would just have to change the parameters just a little bit. So for example, let's say it needed to be physics based. So I can do private void movement, the first one being rigid body, RB, float horizontal, float vertical, float speed, float frame time. Well, now this one automatically lets you know, oh, this is going to be physics based. But at the same time, I can go for physics based movement and then do the implementation. So already I can have a design library in mind when doing it. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. So again, there are ways for you to future-proof your code. Like, okay, so I can do a physics-based movement or standard movement. It doesn't matter. I have the implementations. Now, this movement does actually kind of suck because it's not taking into account moving the camera, which is fine. So, continuing on, I believe that is all the code there. So, yeah, I think let's see. So I have the camera actually being the player. So now we can add the inventory, right? Yes, the inventory script to the player. We can add the player script to it and collect item. And we'll recall that to be player. And we can set the base speed to be, you know what, let's do 20. So now, if we were to play, yeah, that's fine. Can't really see what's going on there, but that's whatever. Okay, so now, item database and inventory panel. So inventory panel goes there. Item database, which, where did I put that? This is the other reason why I typically have my UML diagrams up, but I didn't finish it. Oh. Wait, so where is... Oh, item database goes on the player too. Oops. There. So now, item database is actually the player. The canvas of player was not assigned, actually. So now we can do it in no error should pop up. I guess call me a liar. Oh, I'm an idiot. Right there. This should actually be the inventory canvas. Boom. Now no error should occur. See? All gone. Yes. Always use should, not will. Alright, save the scene. Now we can... I'm gonna cheat a little bit and... Development, Unity... There we go, assets. I want to copy everything except for scenes and scripts. Copy 7 items. Okay, there we go. Paste 7 items. Apply to all, replace. Listen, it's 1 a.m. Gotta go. Thanks for the info. No problem. And I'm pretty sure I'll probably leave this video up. There we go. Importing the assets. This is going to take forever. Uh-huh. There we go. All right. So now, oh, I should probably show off the slot. So it's basically just a rectangle transform, canvas renderer, and an image. And oh, slot also has item, which is just the UI item script. Yes, I know, I know. There. There. So now, yeah, no errors. Good. Let me just double check to make sure. Okay, UI items in inventory panel. So the slot prefab goes there. Boom. Oh yeah, inventory size of I guess 5. Oh, yikes! Okay. Anyways, I got to build the level out. So prefabs. What the hell are my trains? Do 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 do. Does this really not have the terrain there? That's material. Buildings, props. vegetation. Okay, fine, whatever. I'll just go ahead and create a terrain. Oh my god! Oh, why the hell is this still on? There. You know, we'll just leave the ugly terrain there. I'll create an empty game object, call it collectibles. Yeah. I want the trophy. I want the trophy. Give me my apple. Oh, god damn it! Every time. It needs to be in edit mode. Apple. No, we'll leave these to be huge. I don't care. Apple. And then we'll throw all three of these into collectibles. Next up, we'll do the trophy. We'll do the same thing. Those are ridiculously huge. Collectibles. And then lamp. I like how that one's actually small. There we go. And turn. Gotta make sure we keep the names correct. Let's change these scales to be 0.3. Much better. Alright, so now all of these actually need collider. Alright, let's see if we can collide. Oh, there also needs to be a collider on that. We'll just go with the box collider. Holy shit. Oh, we're not getting any console. all these have... Oh. All these should be triggers. It's trigger. Okay, so now let's go into it. Nope. Okay. Let's go ahead and add the rigid body. Object is not a reference. Okay. So we need to find the one that is. Oh shit. So where is... Okay, so it's to the left and over there. Okay. A little too high off the ground. So let's lower the Y position. There. Alright, now let's try it. Let's see. Will it add it to the inventory? No, I did not get notification that it was added. But it is set to inactive. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add a rigid body on all of these, just so that they fall to the floor. Add component, rigid body. What the fuck just happened there? They kind of fell through the floor. Oh, because their colliders are triggers. Okay. I'll just make sure they're low. Oh shit, shit, shit! Oh, the trophies. Alright, fine, fine. Unpack prefab completely. Let's remove those. Okay, so I don't need the light. Don't need the null object. We don't need... There we go. Double check the bases. Don't need either of those bases. Delete. Yes. Okay, cool. Now, there. Let's try the trophy. Should give me... Oh. Alright, and... Did I forget something? Let's see. Let me see. Inventory canvas. It has canvas. Yeah, nothing else there. Panel. UI inventory. That's good. Slot panel. No code there. Selected item. UI item and item follow mouse. Okay. Tooltip panel. Tooltip. Yep, and there all is trigger. So where the hell is my bug coming from? It might help if I actually move those up. There. Now let's test again. But this one should actually add. Let's double check the code again, because maybe I forgot something. Apple, trophy, lantern. Apple, trophy, lantern. Yeah, they're spelled correctly. I'm gonna move that back. So I want all of these to be close together so I can test. Welcome back to being alive. Huh. Huh. Oh. I bet I know what it is. Check for item. Unity. Alright, watch it now work. Alright, collect. Added object named lantern. Added object named item. Still not getting any collision on that for some reason. Let's try this one. Yep. Okay, so let's what's going on with the... Oh. It was the collision. The collider. Boom. Now let's see what happens when we view... So yeah, now all we got to do is actually fix the problem with the UI itself. Cool. So the code's done. That works. So now this is all about organization. Actually, let's make it screen space overlay. Oh shit. Alright, now let's see. Let's take a look when we do... Okay. Hey, there we go. It's starting to appear. Can't do any clicking on it yet. There we go. We added all three. Alright, so now let's take a look at it in the scene view. Now we can cell size 10 by 10. Spacing 5 by 5. Nope. 10 by 10. Fine. 30 by 30. Okay, there we go. We just gotta... There we go. We can copy that. I don't want the Y position to be up. There. Now we go in the game. Looks better. So 220.8. 220.8. And then paste component values there. What is the King Justco doing? Inventory. But now, I just have to see why a selected item is not... See, I should be able to... Oh, there's a bug. Alright, so... That's the problem with UI crap. Always has a bug. Apparently I don't have the lantern. Where is my lantern? Right. Oh, lantern. has to follow correct naming. There. There we go. We have our lantern and stuff show up in the UI. And we could actually make it so that this UI actually stays showing up. So we could just make it show up at the bottom. I might change that up a bit. I don't know yet. Ow, ow, shit, that hurt, dog. Do fix column count of 8. Or is it supposed to be row? I think it's row. Nope. Okay, so now I need to do. That could definitely be the reason why. Let's change the X position of it. Oh, cell size. Let's go with that. And then X spacing there. Much better. So there we go. Inventory that shows up. I don't want to give away the full tutorial because what's the fun in that? Yeah, let's save that scene. Whatever. Alright, so there we go. We have gone over the basic code of how it's all set up. We've also did a bit of the UI and how to go about designing it. And we have seen me make mistake after mistake for no apparent reason. Alright, well, this has been Justgo, and I'm hungry. Tutorials are meant to be applied to future things. Most people complain that tutorials are not perfectly designed for what they want. Yeah. See, what I'm going to do is, in the full tutorial version, I'm going to showcase, after doing the, such a beautiful ending. So basically, in the full tutorial, after showcasing one way of doing it, I'm just going to pull up various scenes of different UI designs that I've come up with. Some of which that will showcase it being shown throughout the entire game. Others where you have to pull up the inventory. And different UI designs of it. So I think that'll be kind of fun. Without going into the details of the code behind it and all that. It's like, there's many things you can do, blah, 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 blah. It's all about how you blah, 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 and be done with it, you know? Now, if you want me to stream again later on, I definitely can, but it probably won't be development-based. Unless I decide to do something with Salesforce. Then I might do a, yeah, I might do the stream doing some Salesforce programming. Who knows? So I'll either do a stream later on where I'm doing Salesforce programming or doing some gaming. I don't know which yet. Alright, I am going to end the stream. I'm going to eat and watch some YouTube videos. Until later. Deuces.